Hey guys, this is Neonizm here today with a little paint tutorial. I was gonna show, I actually recorded making this number 98 yesterday, but my voice didn't come through. So hopefully it's come through now. I guess I'll find out when this is over. Uh, and if it didn't, then I'm probably just gonna stop trying. Because that's a lot of talking that went on for like a full hour for nothing. But anyway, since you didn't get to see the 98 get made, I'm just gonna spec map this truck for you. Kind of show you the process that I use, which some of it's already done over here. I group stuff into A's in yellow and M's in green. The green corresponds with custom spec map stuff up here. Make this a little bit bigger. Yeah, so let me kind of get stuff knocked down here. There we go. So there's different ways to go about doing this spec map. Because I come at this from a game texturing mindset rather than a graphic design mindset, I feel like I kind of have some liberties on a couple things. I'm not worried about my vector graphics. I'm not worried about maintaining resolutions, which if you're, designing stuff for real cars or if you're used to Illustrator or a different program like that, then you're going to be using more vector graphics. But I'm used to game design, texture creation, that sort of stuff. So I do it a little bit different, like you can see on this car. Kind of have this wet, peeling water, like almost water on Teflon kind of look, which I think is pretty interesting. This is Eddie Kerner's car that I'm making for him for winning the LCQC a couple weeks ago. But yeah. So essentially what you want to do is, at least this is the way I do it. And I don't really know what other channels and stuff have said and what their tutorials are like, but I said this a couple days ago in a comment that, crap, what'd I say? This is a mixture of traditional and PBR style texturing. And I say that because you're texturing this, but you're putting it into these channels up here. I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain if you're not familiar with traditional or PBR texturing. In all reality, most of it's not going to make sense anyway. You just need to know the ins and outs, like the main premise. So if you look at the custom spec map groups, there's the red channel metallic and the green channel roughness. I usually call the metallic metalness. I use Substance Designer and Substance Painter, and I'm pretty sure metalness is the same as metallic. It's just a different term. I haven't been on their most recent software, so they might have shifted their nomenclature, but as far as I know, metallic and metalness are the same thing. Terms are kind of important for this stuff just to keep it sorted. The reason I name my stuff with the A's and M's, the M's is obviously going into the metalness with the green, but the A, I like to make it yellow so it's bright and I have that set aside. A stands for albedo, which is just the color. You can call it color, you can call it diffuse, you can call it albedo, whatever you prefer. It all means the same thing. But yeah, so I basically want to make the metalness map, the metallic map. That's what I usually go to first because those are the values that translate most directly into what you want to have at the end. Like if you want something to be chrome, make it whiter. If you want something to be flat, make it blacker. The roughness, it doesn't specifically play a different role in that. It's another way that light is kind of seen and reflected in the engine. Tends to give that glossier, deeper, like that chromier look. If you ever try out Substance, it's a really good breakdown of that sort of stuff. Blue channel alpha. I still haven't found a use for the alpha. I think I have an idea for it. I just need to make it up. But we're essentially making the metallic map, the metalness. Let me turn that off, get out of the way. So that basically entails converting this design to black and white. And I've already kind of started to do that with these groupings and duplications of the groups. So I turn off the yellow. The number up here, this is part of the creation of it yesterday, so that's just gonna be gray anyway. The mask can stay on for now. That's all good. And this kind of tend to start at the bottom. So let's look at the design, the actual thing we're seeing. Ooh, is that not on? Yeah, need that. Yeah, so essentially, if you look at the base paint here, this car is base purple paint, a couple blue highlights, and then everything else is white. Besides these kind of design elements. But the painting process, that is a little more proprietary. Guys don't quite get to see that. Plus it's a lot of just staring at it blankly for like extended periods of time. You're like, what do you want me to do? But yeah. If I turn off the base paint, there's nothing really left there. Here's the wetness texture. So one process I could use for this is I could just take this whole group here, and I know I'm mentioning this for a specific reason. I just take this group, merge it, whatever, come up here, and make it black and white. And oh look, it's black and white. Then you have to go up here and play with all these levels. And they're very sensitive. Really have to know what colors you're working with, like what shades of things are going on in your design. Because otherwise it could go really bad. Okay, looks like majority dark blue. And by the way, this is not the recommended method. Typically, I should say. Sometimes you can get away with this, just depends on the paint scheme. I have this one set up, I could go either way with it, but I want to see kind of which one looks better. I don't know if I can get this one bright enough, at least as far as where I want it. It's just too washed out, and if I back it off to get the detail, it's not quite bright enough for me. Ooh. Unless I boost the magenta. Let's try that. Seems like it still has to be walked back too far. Okay. I didn't expect that to work. That's an example of why that doesn't work. It can if you're making, I wouldn't even say a less complex paint, but if you know what you're kind of looking for and you can do that, it's a little faster, but I don't recommend it. Just because it's kind of hard to get the effects. So this is what we'll do instead. I'm gonna go layer by layer and repaint it, essentially. That looks cool too. Actually looks really cool. But anyway, let's not get distracted. And for this one, I think I want a little bit darker base. That's definitely too bright. Because I want to build the stuff on top to be the things bouncing light around. I also want to use the wetness to kind of pull away from that reflection. Actually, no, I would want to do the opposite of that, wouldn't I? Let's maybe build this in reverse. Let's maybe invert this. Maybe going the other way that I don't want. Yeah, actually doesn't look too bad. Let's get this blue taken care of. These blues can be grouped together, actually. Can they? No, they can't. Yes, they can. They can be grouped together even though they're doing different jobs with their filters. since this is the spec map, it doesn't matter what they're doing because they're color mass, essentially. So they need to be recolored. I could remove their values. Oh, that looks cool too. Ooh, I might have some recolors for this truck. And that looks about right. A lot of this is eyeballing, but it's because I'm kind of doing weird random nonsense. That's already white. And let's make this rasterized gray, so now I know what that is. Yeah, this is going the direction that I want. Alright. That's the base paint done pretty good. Wetness on top, kinda spot on. Yeah. Good contrast. Oh, that's good. That looks like mud splatter right behind the tire. Get it over there? Not quite. And let's do the volume bars next. So that's going to be this top colored one, and then the little ones all over. Let's do the little ones all over first, because they're a little bit easier. Gonna make them mostly contrasting because they're on some brighter surfaces. That looks good. Yeah. Blends in some places, stands out in others. This is gonna be nice contrasting, highlighting the text. This they're blending in. This they're really blending in, but they're providing order within this, and this is mostly blue over here anyway. It's not going to be very visible. Standing out here, this is going to be an interesting blend. Let's, oop. Oop. Okay, let's see if Photoshop crashed. Let's hit save. Let's put these guys on top. That should work. So, I guess I don't really know how to explain what I'm looking for. Just kind of guessing based on what I know about the engine, how things are going to look in the end. The number might not be done. That might need some color adjusting. We'll find out when we go into the sim. Do I still want random clouds? Oh yeah, I definitely want random clouds. Random clouds are one of my favorite things. Kind of help, I don't know, they help move things around for me, but they might be a lot of problems for a lot of other people because while your software is gonna make clouds tileable within the square as a texture would, it doesn't account for the spaces in between. So things don't line up. So you'll have like dark clouds here, light clouds here, and you'll have to go in and manually fix that. And something I deal with all the time. So don't overburden yourself if you're trying to figure things out. Man, I hope I've been providing any sort of useful information here. So I have these guys labeled Chrome Grill Universal, which means I'm just going to leave it alone. It's already solid white. It's going to be solid white in, that's just going to be plain chrome. Same with this. The bars on the back of the bed over here, just plain chrome. White albedo, white metalness, black roughness, that's chrome. Because it is all three things working together a lot of times. It's not just like, oh, this is this thing. Like you have to have your color right too. But then, let's say our shark fin and our spoiler, those, since they're neon, they are going to get just plain flat black. Because we want those to be nice and visible on the super speedways. And for the spotter, not that purple and neon and all these colors are invisible already. A lot of people run black cars. I think there's too many black cars out. But I think that's because it's one of the default things. Dale Earnhardt and all. But I've seen like streams where there's like, here's the top 6 or 7 cars and they all look the same. I can't tell who is who because they're all like either black or like really dark blue. Somebody might have like a red number or something. It's like, oh, that's the red car because the outline of the number is red, but everything else on is black. I've always felt that's entertaining. I'd like to take a poll, like, what is everybody's, yeah, AF. It's reflective AF. What is your default car dealio? Alright, so that's all good to go. My Neonizm branded tape right there. Car decals. Do a color overlay on those guys. I usually do a little bit reflective because, you know, vinyl kind of cutouts and stuff. Well, let's just make it. There we go. Actually, I kind of want a little more contrast with the stuff that's going on. So let's go darker this time. mandatory stuff. I'm okay with that being just plain solid black. The mask, you can turn it off. I usually recolor because I like having things in order. And it doesn't matter what the Ricky Stenhouse's number, sure. And that is all in order. Last thing is our sponsors. And I think I might make it just kind of basic on this one. Let's see how this all turns out just after I get my color change decals. And bing. Those are neon as well, so they're going to be super black. Oh, a couple things left. Turn off the license. And then the pit board can just be turned off. Actually, let me just color overlay the black, because pit board does not take spec map. Banana. Turn off the roll bar and the pit box colors. Let's do that again. Flatten the style. And bam. Alright, so I guess let's do this then. Save this out as metallic, 24-bit, because there's no alpha. Open that up, select it and copy it. Oh, that's my duct tape. Oh, that's probably why this is running rough. Close the duct tape. Don't need my duct tape, not fixing anything. And paste that in there. And then go down the green channel, paste that there, and then invert it. Don't want to forget that. And this kind of gives me a little bit better idea of what we're looking at. I like this. This is gonna be cool. Alright, we'll see how this goes. I might record a video in the sim, because I don't think this is gonna keep going. So, I hope there was useful information somewhere in there for you. Maybe I'll make another one.